didn't even know you could change the color of the cars until I was watching the demo and saw cars that were colors that don't exist, that didn't exist, I thought. Anyway, we have that hot-ass music to introduce the stage, and then it just stops, and instead we get the very wonderful sounds of just driving and ramming into corners. You have a spotter in this game who has some questionable English. But the other thing about this game that's different from a lot of these Blomby car style games, it's not really what I should call them, but whatever, is that your car is kind of gigantic relative to the track. Some of these corners are almost impossible to make without bumping a corner, just because you don't have enough degrees of accuracy in steering to avoid the car like shifting into a wall. But fortunately, it being a Data East game, bumping into stuff doesn't matter too much as long as you don't really ram it. But, so this game, as far as I can tell, this game, there's very little information that I've been able to find on it. I'm unsure that it ever got any distribution outside of Japan. I haven't even been able to find a ROM set that isn't in Japanese. And there's not really much information about, like, really anything that went on with it. I just kind of stumbled across it going through ROMs at one point, and at the time I hated it because, like everyone who plays this game right away, the first thing you notice is that the controls are just mental. But once you get used to it, it's kind of okay. Your car being gigantic kind of makes it a headache if you're easily going to get motion sick or something. But, you know. The other car, I picked this car. The other car has faster steering, like it's more responsive to the direction you press. But it also has a tendency to oversteer a lot. And that is problematic, because there's... Fighting oversteer in this game is like impossible. So that's track 1, the Gymkhana. Then, since it just goes through the rotation, we get stage 6, Fail Lake. This stage at high rank is really, really impossible to make the turn in my experience. There's a couple turns in this track, too, that I don't really understand how you're supposed to be able to make. Yeah, this track also has some unannounced angle changes, which is annoying, because this game, like, there's just no way you can respond to an angle change visually without the indicators. But, yeah, like that turn, I don't know how you're supposed to make that turn when you lose control after a hill. Unannounced corner. But yeah, your spotter announces all your turns, like, correctly relative to the car, but since your controls are relative to the screen and not to the car, them telling you, like, left, right is often just wrong. Like, they're often telling you, I mean, like, obviously it's the correct way for the car to turn, but you almost have to, like, just train yourself to tune out the spotter. bumping walls and stuff in this game is not terribly consequential. Even if you like ram a wall really hard like that, you'll typically just kind of bounce off of it. If you really ram a wall hard, you can flip the car, but even that really doesn't cost you all that much time in the grand scheme of things. I've, on the final race, like, completely crashed the car before and still finished. Another thing about this game, it doesn't show on this, obviously, but this game seems to have been set up in, like, a double cabinet configuration, because by default, it actually brings up 2 screens. Right, so now we made to stage 1, which is Big Valley. Data East, reusing names from Too Crude or something. This stage, being as it's supposed to be the first stage, is pretty straightforward. There's not really any particularly tough corners here. Once we get to stage 3 and 4, the timer's going to be pretty tight, but we've actually got quite a bit of leeway on these ones. And like many of these over-top driving games, the brake is just completely useless. Like, obviously you can slow the car down, but the way these curves are laid out and the amount of penalty you have for touching a wall is so low that braking is just totally unnecessary. Even letting off the accelerator is not really necessary, which is not really how you want to drive a car, but it's where we're at. Yeah, no, this game is not a Neo Geo. It's just a standalone board, which I've never seen before. Exciting music and then just stop. Wouldn't want the drivers to get too distracted. So that turn in particularly, the other car is really silly because the other car turns so instantaneously that turn is like hard to get through without just completely slamming yourself into the middle. It's just incredible how overly responsive the other car is. But, you know. Another thing that's kind of weird, a lot of times you can like start steering before the turn, and when you're not, like if I were to right now hit up, it would try and adjust my car up, not turn up. But once you get to an actual turn, it'll accept it, it like understands that that's an actual turn. So a lot of times you can be like holding a direction preemptively for the turn, and the game will just start turning when it's the correct time. Which is also, like, really disorienting when you're not used to that kind of a control thing. Especially these, like, just angle changes. A lot of times I'm holding the direction pretty significantly ahead of when it is trying to make me turn, and the game just kind of figures it out for you. Okay. So now these last couple tracks are where our timer, because of the order we did everything, the timer gets real tight on these stages, so you have to focus a bit more instead of chatting. About a half second behind the pace I'd like to be on. Yeah, we might be coasting across the finish line, but we'll see. Yeah, we should be okay. Okay. So one thing I do like about choosing this stage order is that the last stage is the hill climb, which to me is a much more thematically appropriate end than the lake. Good. That's that. I didn't start a timer. Oh, God. This game's kind of weird because you get 4 letters. Yeah, these people are celebrating. Seems very safe, very appropriate. Yeah, do a flip. There we go. This game has different endings, and I'm not 100% sure how to get them. But I've got some ideas that I've figured out a little before, but we'll see. I have to try things. Anyway, that's it for this game. We've got software credits. Some of the credits are really weird. Like this guy who's credited as hard. I don't know what part of the team hard is, but he did it all right. Thank you for your playing.